Cowboy, the Kevin Allen Show welcomes you to today's show. So, sit back, relax, and put your thinking caps on, and remember to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey, welcome to the Kevin Allen Show, guys. Today's Monday morning. We're trying something totally different, trying to fix some computer issues here. And I have actually, our special guest today is Kevin Allen, Kevin himself.
What's going on?
What's going on? I'm going to bring him on. We actually made a decision late Saturday to start a journey to Asbury University, where an incredible revival's going on. I'm going to see if Kevin speak on it.
Sure. Thanks, Mark, again. And we're like the real people. We're the real deal. We're not like phony, fake corporate media. So we do make mistakes. We're honest, and we embrace it, man. Listen, Saturday I was on my way down to Maryland to a meeting, a couple meetings, and some business. And upon leaving Maryland, heading back to, anticipating going back to Connecticut, a one-day trip, I didn't pack any luggage. I didn't bring any extras. You and I talked, and we started talking about, as we often do, Mark, we talk about what's going on in the world, right? The topics of the day. And Asbury came up, and we knew Tucker was there last week. We knew there's been really missing from corporate media's, reporting. And in this journey I've been sharing with you and with the folks that have been following us, I've had a really amazing experiences, and they really have been centered around God and really bringing me to places. And so, hey, we talk about it, and what this is Asbury University has created Mecca. I mean, this is an attraction, not just here from the Kentucky area or America. We met people from throughout the world. Yes, and we'll talk more details. But yeah, we were talking about it on Saturday. We quickly said, hey, check the distance. You did, and I quickly just I did one question to my in my heart and to my soul and to my beliefs, and it was easy. It's go. And so we drove out there, and we covered the event yesterday, and got a chance to get into the chapel. And we'll talk about that later. But it was amazing, and thank you for your advice on that.
Yeah, no problem, Kevin. Thanks for calling in. Hopefully our audio is being picked up okay. I just tested it. It sounds pretty good.
I'll just ask anybody that's watching us live, give a comment, folks.
Yeah.
Give a comment. Can you hear us? And if you can't, and if it's screwed up, let us know. We apologize. We're going to talk about this topic later on the week, and we're going to try to get some interviews from the people that were there and cover it even more. So no worries. But Mark, you're doing a great job. I appreciate all you're doing there.
Yeah, no problem. Pitch it. And one thing, I think, let's start with what you saw out there, not feelings, but what did you see as far as people? Was it only a couple people there?
Oh no. I arrived sometime around a little bit after breakfast time, so figure around maybe 10, right around lunchtime, getting ready to start. Very quiet little town. First of all, Asbury is in a quiet corner of Kentucky, very country, picturesque, beautiful university, small school. But it was a beautiful setting. You drove in, and the sun was up. It looked the way I expected it to look, with the brick buildings. You're very collegiate. People were smiling. Cars were coming in. The state police were stationed way probably about 10 miles out. Traffic was flowing very smoothly at that point, no jams or anything. But there was a lot of police presence in traffic only. We'll talk a little bit about that later on, where we saw nobody doing anything as far as there was a couple cops on the property, but there was no need for it there with the attendees. But no, it was a very picturesque setting, and the people were peaceful, happy. I was talking last night, Mark, and I was best explaining it. It reminded me of the 80s when I was growing up, when we didn't have technology, and we used to go to the baseball parks or to the parks for picnics, and we would gather together in communities, and people would sit on blankets and talk to strangers. And I just saw that just was a common theme. They weren't strangers, really. They actually quickly became friends and family.
Yeah, let's give a little quick history. Maybe a lot of people don't know what is Asbury University, what is actually happening down there. Reports I have from the brief knowledge I looked into it was this started as the students at their regular Wednesday night worship meeting.
Yeah, Pastor actually talked about it yesterday, and I believe I was able to record that portion of it. And again, a big shout out to the folks down there, the faculty, the staff, the volunteers, which are hundreds and hundreds. We just saw such a smooth operation. I think it's a pop-up business, and they're doing what some businesses dream about doing, with getting people to their facility and operating a very smooth, safe place for people to come, get in line orderly, have food provided for them, bathrooms, all that, and they're doing it amazingly. The pastor talked about that Wednesday night you talk about, and this student went back to class, went into class and told his professor, I didn't finish my prayer. I didn't finish my prayer. My prayer needs to, I need to do this. And the professor said, sure, go back to chapel. And so that student went back to the chapel. And a few of his friends said, I feel like I need to pray more. And they went back to the chapel. And they started praying, and then eventually someone put this on TikTok. Out of that.
Oh, so it started the press of it, part of it, where are people finding out? It all started with a TikTok video.
Is social media opened the window and door to this opportunity? And it wasn't the only thing, but it's. So when these young guys, when the first student went in and he started doing, his friends came in, others started to gather. And as it materialized, it happened. And, defining a revival, I mean, this is exactly, you can't plan it. You can't schedule on this date that it's going to happen. It happened. And that's why I think people feel this is a pilgrimage worth taking. People are traveling from throughout the world to this location, and it's all because of those students.
So to me, it sounds like something that started innocent, like, hey, I'm not comfortable. I need to go finish, my prayers. Professor said, go handle your business, because it is a Christian university, which is fantastic. And he brought a couple of his friends. And then it sounds like divine intervention just took over, and this just people went forth and multiplied.
I don't know if it's intervention. It's much. I understand the point you're getting to, and I agree. But I think it was the moment. It's the moment in history when this world needs this in the worst way.
Yeah, and I believe it started February 8th, that Wednesday night, and today's the 20th, and it's still going strong.
It's still going strong, and they I heard they had a plan to shut it down, and then I heard a plan that there's no plan to shut it down. I don't think God's spoken to the university to tell them what to do next. I think they're riding with it, and they're welcoming anyone and everyone to come there and to be a part of it. And that to me was the easy decision on Saturday. Once I got a full grasp of this opportunity, and it was personal for me. I don't want it to be like I didn't go there only to be able to share with all the folks that we're talking to now, and hopefully more that are going to listen and watch the future content we release. But more importantly, I did it for me. I felt a calling to go to Asbury to feel the same emotional connection to God, which I think it's happening now.
Oh, fantastic. Now I want to get into, there was thousands of people there, I guess, right?
Yeah, you asked the question about numbers of attendees. When I arrived, I'd have to say there was probably at least 1,000 to 1,500 maybe at that time. And then that just grew all day long. The crowd never went down. The line snaked across the front lawn where they had it very orderly set up, and to get into the chapel. There was other rooms that they had set up. They'd set up a monitor out in the grassy field that was in front of the chapel, and people were on their blankets. But the most amazing part, Mark, was you could tell everyone just came from different parts. There was not one conversation that seemed like it was strangers talking. There was not one argument. There was one lady that was clearly suffering for some real attention needs, and she was trying to be loud, but she was drowned out by just peaceful love and respect back to her that she couldn't even get the energy she was after. So in all, I didn't see one issue out of 3 to 5, maybe, I don't know how many thousands attendee yesterday. I'm sure they know. But I didn't see one issue at all. I saw nothing but peace, love, and harmony.
Okay, so we were talking play by play. I just kind of want to give some background, to our viewers out there. Thousands of people at this university, lines everywhere, and one thing I was really amazed in the research I did is everybody was thousands of people waiting hours upon hours just for a chance to walk into the chapel for a few minutes just to feel what was going on. What was the line like the line in the crowd? People arguing, getting short tempered, grumpy because they were waiting so long?
No, smiles. I can't wait. You know what? I think I interviewed a few people live that were saying they were just so grateful to have a chance to wait in line to enter this building. And there was not one negative. I did not come across one negative person, especially in line. I did a lot of line interviews and, hey, where are you from? And it was all positive, Mark. It was amazing. Amazing.
All right, so let me get this straight. A large event with people.
Yeah, Americans and others across the world, but yes, humans were there.
All right. Lots of human beings, we'll call it. They're at this place waiting hours and hours. In the mainstream media, would portray an event like that of, people either they would spectacularize it somehow versus, people starting to get grumpy, hungry, angry, tired. And from what you're saying, this is the complete opposite of what a mainstream media narrative would be.
This is the example of what people should be, even in a divided country of political opinions or divided, social issues, people still being able to come together. And, and I think that's a great point that should be made is there are some people there, like myself, that, have accepted Christ in my life, but aren't really practicing the way that we should. Or there's also, I met people that weren't really practicing, but they were called to go there. And so, and they were looking for that belief that many of us are in the world today. And it was provided, and it was so peaceful and such a positive that corporate media won't talk about it because it's that nice. It's that good. It's that true and just honestly godly. We know corporate media won't talk about that.
Yeah, we've had, I think, you and I and thousands and millions of people across the country understand why, negative news sells. They want, keep you in the dark. And this is just a very light, hopeful feeling of hope movement going around that you're not alone. Here, you just proved thousands upon thousands of people, gather on this place. People, probably have to wait
every day, Mark.
Every day. They're waiting in line. They're hungry, probably. Getting short tempered, and literally no one got short tempered. No one's arguing. Everyone's peace and love. I did see on a report, there was actually, I believe it was the Salvation Army there was setting up with a little bit of food, coffee, porta potties.
So the Salvation Army was there. There was pizza, hot dogs. There was other vendor trucks that were arriving. Listen, when we have tragedy, right, we come together. It's sad in the world that it takes tragedy to get that emotion, to get that connection to each other. And in this situation, there's no tragedy here. This is just a real enlightenment of the opportunity that God gives us. And so that same feelings just going out to other people, and the people that are getting it, they want to embrace it. They want to be a part of this. And you can call it a spiritual, historic moment. And whether or not the United States of America government or some people on an extreme side of politics or social sides want to ignore what's happening, this is going to make history in America, and it has, and it will in the world, the impact of what's happening at Asbury University.
Oh, fantastic. On a couple more notes, I want to describe the feeling. You know how like you go into certain places, people can like feel the energy, good, bad, and different. And I think a lot of us felt it. Remember after 9/11, 9/12, 9/13, the country was together. For one, could it be a similar feeling, without the devastating tragedy?
That's exactly the point. Well put, Marcus. Because how I felt was a sense of, first and foremost, patriotism was a part of what I felt there, but it wasn't the prevailing factor. It was nothing about because there, and we can talk about it. So many different countries represented, people that flew from Singapore, Finland, Ukraine, Russia. We saw people coming from the entire world. There was a couple that had sold their car in one of the South American countries, and they sold their car so they could fly to this important, impactful moment. It brings people together, and the tragedies do that in America, right? We thrive on the tragedies. We don't thrive on the moments like this, and I'm bewildered by and if you're questioning whether or not you believe in God, if you're out there but still see this moment, you should be curious enough to want to be a part of that moment to understand what's all the cool kids doing. Why are they all going? Because you want to know, right? I mean, you should want to know. There was none of this extreme Christian kookiness, okay? Let's just dismiss that. I want to tell everyone that's listening who has a fear about Christianity or Catholics or Protestants or even Muslims for that matter. Let's really be honest. God drove me, but there's people out there that are seeking answers, and they're just so turned off by, I think, some of the things that we see in the corporate media. These are the moments you don't want to pass up. If you're curious, make sure, especially if you're curious, that's the place you want to be. You want to be exposed to those moments. Don't wait for a tragedy. Go become part of a miracle that you can live and experience.
Yeah, and I just this ties into what we're discussing. We're trying to go a little like off center from a regular show. We're trying new things. We just want to bring a whole bunch of different people's views, opinions, stories back to the show. Maybe to show some goodness. For me, I've heard just the love that was pouring out from everybody. Just truly enjoyed it. And it was like a pilgrimage for them. And I'm also hearing other universities or Christian groups are trying to do the same thing. And this is spreading like wildfire. Any reports of that, or people talking?
Mark, it's not trying. Actually, the pastor talked about it. And he was just so amazingly empowered by the compliment of other people, realizing that this young group of people, Mark, these students, they were able to, through their own hearts, put this together and get this thing in motion. And think about it, across the country right now, you're right. I don't know what's going on in Connecticut, where we're from, and I'm heading back to currently. I don't know across the country where it's happening. I say to everyone, don't wait. Go outside. Go talk, go talk to somebody. Go talk to somebody in your community. And again, if you're not ultra religious and you don't want it to be that, but you want to get a spiritual connection to God, get together with like-minded people and gather and talk. And that's how it happens. It doesn't have to be planned. And that's why I think these other universities are jumping on it now. And I think it's just going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to continue. This isn't going anywhere. There's too much of a need for this in our world today that we need to continue.
So there you have it, guys. I think we're going to end up on this note. You have Kevin's reporting from the road, what he saw, heard, and felt from Asbury University, which people are calling the Revival, or Revival started. Kevin, any last closing statements? Anything you want to wrap up to tell our viewers?
Sure. First, thank you, Mark. You do an amazing job. I know Paul's over there doing her thing and getting you guys do. You do it so I can try to do what I do, and I will wrap it up with these thoughts, right? I didn't know what I was going to expect. I didn't know what to expect. I knew what was going on, and I heard about it. And I also know what's going on inside of my own heart, my own mission in life, and sort of where I'm going. At 53 years old, my poor children are going to have to prepare a eulogy, about a 3-hour-long one, on all the things I've tried in life. And, the greatest opportunity that's in front of me right now on this podcast, on what we're doing, is to get on the road. Being in a studio is cool. I like doing it. But let's face it, I connect to the average everyday people across this country, no matter where they are economically, educationally. And that's where I think we're going to get the best content for our viewers. And we're not going to run away from the Christian love of God. We're not going to run away from the debates with people who are anti-cops. And we do all that. We're going to continue to do it. But we're going to make a special emphasis to really connect with the average everyday American. And, I was driving home today, and I'm seeing on a holiday, right? It's supposed to be President's Day, right? I see all these construction workers in the cold weather down there, pounding a hammer a Monday morning. And I'm thinking, America is great. We are great. We just started to realize, we started to accept when corporate media and the politicians tell us we're broken. We've been thinking we are. We're really not broken. We just need to bring it together again. And that's the inspiration I take away from Asbury, that this is an opportunity for us as a country and a world to ignore all of them, start paying more attention to each other. And I hope that we can do that here on the show going forward.
Fantastic, sir. I appreciate you calling in from the road, giving our viewers a little, taste and sharing your experience, what you saw, heard, felt out of Asbury. I know a lot of people were there, and I'm so glad everything was amazing. And that's going to end it for today. I appreciate everybody. Go out, do good things today. Have a great day.